Does it ever seem like the world around you is changing too quickly to keep up with? Like things are moving too quickly. There's always some new technology, there's some new crisis on the horizon, there's a political fiasco, whatever the case is. This creates a significant complication for us psychologically, in that when we have this ongoing change, when things seem to be moving so quickly and every day there's some new thing to attend to, we may find ourselves subject to a pervasive anxiety where we're always a little bit activated, always a little bit on edge. And if that's the case for you, and you find it difficult to actually settle within yourself and find a place of calm, then in this video, you're going to learn a couple of simple techniques that can help you find more confidence in your ability, not only to survive these changes, but actually to thrive amidst them. Now, I want to say at the outset that the world actually is changing more quickly than it ever has in human history. The rate of change in technological developments is something unlike what we've ever experienced in our evolutionary history. So, if it seems like things are moving faster, they actually may be. And part of the challenge with this is our mixed experience of the unknown. So, as the world changes, we may find ourselves confronted with the unknown and with uncertainty more and more frequently. Now, the problem, or I shouldn't say problem, but the difficulty this creates for us is that the unknown, as a big umbrella statement, it contains both all of the good that we've not yet experienced in our lives. The idea that this could be better than anything I've ever known. Well, that's contained in the unknown. And the unknown also contains all of the bad that we've not yet experienced in our lives, which is an interesting psychological situation. The unknown is both intrinsically rewarding and threatening. Now, as a result of this, there is a universal human tendency to become a bit apprehensive at the edge of the unknown. There's nervousness that's actually quite normal. Again, this is a universal human tendency to experience a bit of nervousness when we're at the edge of the unknown. Reason being, if we didn't have that nervousness, if we didn't have that apprehension, we might rush headlong into the unknown and find ourselves in the midst of something worse than we've ever experienced before. Now, this nervousness, if left unchecked, can also keep us paralyzed and trapped, unable to experience something better than we've ever known. So we have this dual relationship with the unknown. When we are in a state of uncertainty, we may be a bit nervous, and it can be incredibly helpful in these situations to activate a bit of curiosity. See, when we're at the edge of the unknown, it behooves us to engage in a bit of cautious exploration. We don't want to be reckless and rush in where we could experience some danger. We want to take appropriate steps to mitigate the risks. However, that cautious exploration affords us the opportunity to experience something better than we've ever known as well. And when I'm working with clients in activating their curiosity, we'll generally do two things. First, we will find a base of support. And you've heard me mention this if you've seen other videos time and time again, but it's worth a reminder. When you have your attention focused on the support beneath you, you are more available to actually then go and engage in exploration. So you connect with the base of support. And you want to be sure to explore any negative predictions you have about the future. See, what often happens when we're in the face of the unknown is many of us find that experience of uncertainty to be intolerable. So intolerable, in fact, that rather than explore the unknown, we will construct a whole slew of negative predictions that give us a false sense of certainty. And it's a sense of certainty tinged with doom, right? I mean, you look at the way many people relate to the future, and they treat it as a screen. They project all kinds of negative ideas onto the future. They say things are going to fall apart, nothing's going to work out, it's going to be catastrophe and cataclysm and doomsday, all of this. Those negative predictions, as painful, as terrifying as they may be, they give people a sense of certainty in how the future will go. Now, until we develop our capacity to tolerate the experience of uncertainty, we will be very prone to engage in these negative predictions. So we can do, as I mentioned, two things. One is find your base of support, shift your attention downward, and notice that your body right now is actually in contact with a supporting surface beneath of you. Now, from that place, from that awareness, it's likely much easier for you to do this important next step, which is to ask yourself, do you have a crystal ball that lets you predict with total certainty how the future is going to go? And I'm willing to bet that no, you don't. Which means you could walk your attention and your energy and your focus back from those negative predictions about the future to your experience of uncertainty in the present. And as I mentioned before, there is a normal nervousness when we are at the edge of the unknown. There's a question, what's going to happen? And when we activate our curiosity at the edge of the unknown, which again is much easier to do from a base of support, we can shift the tone of that question. Same question, we can shift the tone to something like, what's going to happen? And we can explore and actually find in doing so that when we're at the edge of the unknown and we're connected to a base of support, rather than this nervousness, this anxiety, this worry about how things are going to go, we may actually find that there's a pleasant sense of activation. There's a readiness to engage with the situation at hand. And rather than engaging in the world through the lens of these negative predictions, which hopefully by now you've checked and suspended and realized that you can't predict the future, rather than engage with the world through the screen of those negative predictions, you're able to take stock of the situation in which you find yourself. And from the support, from that activated state of readiness, you can begin to explore. It's a bit like a game of Jenga. And I don't know how you play Jenga, but when I play Jenga, I tend to poke at the various pieces. Some people say that's cheating. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm going to say everybody has the ability to do that. So you poke at the various Jenga blocks and you see, which one of these has the most give? Which one of these will yield to my exploratory efforts? And by God, I may find that this piece moves and this piece doesn't. And so I'm going to try and move this piece. And in doing so, I take one next step and the next step and the next step, all the while operating from a base of grounded, calm, and confidence, which allows me to be curious about my experience of the unknown. It allows me to make a voluntary approach toward the unknown, which is a very different experience than having the unknown approach us. And this is especially important for us, given the rate of change in the world around us. When we voluntarily approach the unknown, it is an entirely different psychological experience than having the unknown approach us. It's akin to us being in the predator position rather than being in the prey position. So when I move toward the unknown of my own volition, through my own confidence, curiosity, I have a much greater sense of agency, and I'm able to respond rather than when the unknown confronts me and I'm forced to react. Yeah. So a very different experience, and one that is much more available to you when you've connected to your base of support and have suspended that automatic tendency to make negative predictions about the future. Again, as much of a sense of certainty as those may give you, they are based entirely on speculation in the face of imperfect knowledge that attempts to give you a sense of control over how things are going to go. But what people often find is that those negative predictions instead just create a sense of misery. Not only that, sometimes it creates a self-fulfilling prophecy in that if you're exploring the unknown and you don't know how it's going to go, but you tell yourself, oh, this is going to go terribly, well, does that make it more or less likely that you're going to act in such a way that the thing goes terribly? Well, if you're caught up in that nervousness and worry and anxiety, you're less capable. So, of course, it's then more likely that things are going to go worse off. But if you can notice that that worry, that nervousness, that's in response to the way that you are thinking about the unknown, then you can simply suspend that thought. It's not to say that you shouldn't think that, but you can suspend that and you can explore the unknown rather than explain it with all of these negative predictions. And I think you'll find that when the world is changing rapidly, there will be more and more encounters with the unknown, more and more encounters with novel situations, things that your history and your personal experience don't actually give you a whole lot of information about. So rather than let your history repeat itself, you can put the brakes on that. You can suspend the negative predictions, which are based on the way things have been. And you can, again, explore, start to poke and test and experiment and learn about this uncertain situation. So I hope this is of some use. I know this is quite a bit of information packed into a relatively short video. So if you have any questions about specific applications of that, feel free to drop that in the comments down below. And until next time, be well, take care, and we'll talk soon.